Good morning. Today we are getting ready to plant our garlic and shallots, and there is a little bit of prep work. I'm going to walk you guys through that and explain that process and why we do it this way. But if you are looking for something that's super easy to plant, garlic. You literally put it in the ground and do nothing to it all winter long. It's important that you plant it early enough so it gets a really hard freeze. We're a little late on getting it in this year, but it's for our temperate zone. We don't typically get a hard freeze until January, February, or at least not one that's going to be significant enough for garlic growth. So we're all right. But if you live further up north, you might not be able to do so at this point because your ground is already too cold. But the way garlic works, you separate out the cloves. You plant each clove individually, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But what that hard freeze does is it kind of triggers the garlic to make a large head of garlic underneath the soil. So that's why that hard freeze temperature is really important. So, but we actually have garlic and shallots that we're going to be planting today. Shallots operate the same way. These are the shallots. These are the garlics. And we grow a variety called chestnut red. It's a hardneck garlic, and it produces the garlic scapes, which will look like this. And the scapes are really cool because you can, you actually kind of get a 2-for-1 deal, because the scapes, gosh, I just got crumbs from this all over my counter. The scapes come on first, and that's basically the flower stalk to your garlic. And so plant your garlic, you let it do its thing under the soil. It's one of the first things that really starts to come up in the spring months. So you'll start to see some greenery coming up. It'll grow a big long stalk with leaves coming out, and then it has the flower stalk that comes out the top. It's kind of this weird curly looking thing with a pointed end. And the scapes are amazing to cook with. You can use them basically like a green onion, but they have a real mild garlic flavor to them. So they're really great to add on top of dishes as a garnish. One of our favorite ways to use them is to brown them in a pan with some butter and use them as a topping for steaks. So, but anyways, they're just kind of fun, kind of different, and restaurants love them. So that's a really easy thing for us to offer them that they might not be able to find. It's a seasonal item too, so it's not something that's fine. It's not something that you can find year round in store. But anyways. So what we need to do first is separate out these cloves. We order our garlic from Keen Garlic. It's a company out of Wisconsin, and we have been super happy with them. You get a little pamphlet, and they actually kind of upped their game this year. It's got a QR code on the back that explains exactly how to pre-treat your garlic so you have a more successful crop. Okay, so the process for soaking these, we are going to separate out the cloves. It doesn't matter if there's like papery skin still on it. It doesn't have to be completely clean. But we'll separate out these cloves, and then we are going to soak them in a combination of fish emulsion, water, and hydrogen peroxide. And what that does is it removes any microorganisms or bacteria that could affect the growth of the garlic. And it actually helps them increase their bulb size. And if you soak it long enough, you'll actually see these little root hairs start to form. It's sometimes within just a couple days of them soaking in this fish emulsion mixture. So you want to soak it for at least 30 minutes to an hour before you plant it, just so it has a good opportunity to get absorbed into the garlic clove. So that's what I'm working on next. I've got to get all these separated out, and then we will mix up our fertilizer and get them soaking so we can plant them later today. Otis, are you supervising? Yes? Okay. So I've got our bucket that's got a gallon of water. I might have to add more. It just kind of depends on how much coverage I get.
Was that full of water too?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's that, and then I put shallots on top. I'm gonna go ahead and add another half gallon, I think. All right, next is fish emulsion. About 2 tablespoons per gallon of water, so I'm gonna put in 3 since I did 1.5. This stuff stinks so bad, but it's helpful for the plants. Ugh, so gross. Last step is 1 teaspoon of baking soda per gallon. And 2. Hey, that is not for you. That is not treats. Leave it alone. Give it all a good little stir in here. We're gonna let that sit for about 30 minutes to an hour, however long it takes us to get the beds prepped. So we're just gonna be using some existing fabric as like a mulch layer and to keep the weeds from growing up in it. But yeah, we're gonna go down and get that stuff done. The kids, we're gonna force them to help us. They're not happy about it, but get that done, get that in the ground, and see what else we can accomplish for the day. I'm gonna try and keep you guys out of the wind, but hang on 1 second. Okay, so we are trying to get ready to plant this garlic out here, and I realized I left some of my bug netting out. It's just kind of been left under weights in between beds, so I need to get this put away. And I braid it, and it's kind of like crocheting in a way. So I take my loop here, stick my hand through. Let's see, I gotta do it this way. Yeah, stick my hand through, and I pull this way, and then that starts my loop series. And it's not knotted at the end, because in the springtime, when I go and get ready to use this, I want to be able to pull it out easily and not have it get tangled up. But I'm basically just, I've got my loop, and then I pull a loop through a loop, and a loop through a loop. And now it's all braided in one nice little compact pile, and I can store it until we need it in the spring. And there is my nice neat pile of braided bug netting. Woohoo! Trying to pick some good music for us. I don't know what that song is. Ooh, Oliver Anthony.
There she is. So what we're doing, I've got all my garlic soaked in here.
you're just gonna reach in, take one of these out, and you're gonna plant it. See this part down here? That's where the roots will come out. So you wanna stick it down in the hole just like that, so the part that's gonna grow up will go straight up. Stick it down in there, cover it up, that's all. Don't plant what's in these green bags in here. That's shallots, we're not ready for those yet. So just the garlic.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter, even if it's tiny like this one, go ahead and still plant it, okay? Do try to not touch your clothes after you touch this, because it stinks, okay? Here, let's bring the bucket over here. And you guys are gonna start here.
I found this.
Okay, so look, I'll do one just to show you. Got it here, put it down in my hole so it's straight up the way it needs to be. Cover it up, okay? You guys got it? There is one hole, look for a second. Way down there, there's a hole that has a squash sitting in it. Don't touch that one, it's full of ants. So don't plant anything in that hole, okay?
Which one?
It's way down kind of towards the end. Right there. Okay?
Where Dad is?
Past Dad. All towards the end of this bed. You'll see it when you get there. No, just Emma, just leave it. Okay? Prepared. I can plug you in while you watch us. Oh my gosh.